Welcome to another edition of FH&P Lawyers Law Talk. I'm Clay Williams. I'm a partner here at FH&P. And you've heard me over the many times you've listened to this podcast, hopefully, talk about our mission statement, which is rooted in community, ready to help. And as I've talked about in the past, FH&P Lawyers does have several different venues or offices to serve you. And so we've got an office in Kelowna, West Kelowna, and in Penticton, and because our community is the Okanagan. We're based here, and this is where we want to center our practice and help the Okanagan be business in the Okanagan. And I'm so happy to welcome Kevin Robertson, our newest addition to FH&P Lawyers. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Clay. I appreciate it.
Kevin is our newest addition to FH&P, and Kevin, you are located in Vernon.
I am. So I'm expanding FH&P out to the Vernon area and the surrounding areas in Vernon, Armstrong, Salmon Arm, that sort of area. I'm excited to do it.
You know what? It's the trifecta. Finally, we've got Penticton, Kelowna, and Vernon. That was always the business plan, to try and be a law firm, a true Okanagan law firm. So we're very excited. Now, we don't have an office open yet, but that's the plan. We've started with the personnel. So welcome. So let's hear about you. I understand that you actually grew up in Vernon.
I did, yeah. I started elementary school in Vernon and grew up elementary school, high school, and then moved away within the Okanagan to continue my university studies, but was eager to get back as soon as I was done to Vernon.
Well, and we were talking before the podcast, and you actually went to school in Kelowna for your undergrad and then to Kamloops. So you haven't been very far, I guess.
I have not been very far. I mean, it's such a beautiful place. I really wasn't that keen to leave.
Yeah, well, I'm really lucky. I feel lucky to be here. I've discovered the Okanagan. I went to school in Vancouver and then came up here for a job after working on the coast for a bit. So really, really happy to be here. I don't know how many years. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, growing up in Vernon is a great opportunity for us too. You know people.
Yes. Definitely know people, and I've got the family there, so we've all sort of connections in there, and as they grow up.
All right, so you went to you got your undergrad at UBCO, and then off to Thompson Rivers, and from there back to Vernon, and been a lawyer there ever since, as I understand. Wow, that's very impressive. And so tell us what kind of stuff do you do? What's your practice?
Yeah, so I do a lot of family law, and then I also do some civil litigation. Family law is just helping families in different stages of their relationships, whether they're just getting together and they're needing to figure things out at that end, or they've separated and it hasn't gone well. Helping that side too. So,
what about tell us a little bit about your involvement in the Vernon community, because I can tell you when we heard about you, I was pretty impressed with how deep your roots are there and what you do there. What kind of, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so I'm on a few boards in the Vernon area. I'm on the Kitani Cultural Society, which is an arts and culture organization based in Vernon, which I'm actually very excited. We have some artwork that's currently just about to be shown at the Maxi Gallery in Rome, which is very cool. And then I'm also a board member on Turning Point's Collaborative Society, and that's an organization that stretches throughout the Okanagan, much like FH&P, and it deals with addiction recovery, homelessness, and just all aspects of that kind of spectrum.
So what is it called? The Kitani Cultural Society. Is that how, am I pronouncing it right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So this is an artist, I understand, that is actually doing a show in Rome, or tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's Sveva Kitani. She's passed away, but she is an amazing watercolor painter, or was. And her artwork for the first time ever is going to be displayed outside Canada at the Maxi Gallery in Rome. And it should be starting in a couple of weeks, a big opening reception, and
Are you going?
I am not, unfortunately,
Oh, wow.
no. I feel very jealous for the other board members that are going down for the opening reception.
Oh, there are going to be
yes.
some then. I would think that would be a pretty cool thing to do.
Yes.
To go, and you'd probably get an invite as a director of the society that sponsored it, I guess. Eh?
Correct.
So,
I was invited.
that's tough. That's a tough one then. And so that's I've never heard of that society, but it's interesting that we've got such a famous artist from the Okanagan.
Yes.
And such interest in Italy of all places. So
Yeah, her heritage is through the Italian royalty, so which is kind of the connection there. But I'm pretty involved in the art scene in Okanagan and Vernon, and there's some stunning and really pronounced artists in the area. So
wow, that's impressive. What is the Turning Points Collaborative Society? So housing and addiction recovery, I see you've written down here. So what do they actually operate housing?
we do. So it's a full spectrum of housing, depending on where people needs are. So it could be anything from rent supplements, helping people kind of be diverted so they don't end up in a shelter, to full supported housing where they need some help. It's a kind of full spectrum approach with very different levels, with the idea that we can meet people where they're at. And if that changes, they can go kind of more support, less support. But the big thing is keeping people, or giving the opportunity to get off the streets and kind of be more integrated into society. Because once you get on the streets, it's really hard and difficult to transition off them.
Oh, it's so important nowadays to provide that type of support, isn't it?
It really is.
You know, and then just thinking about it, we're taping this here at the end of summer. I think it's the first day of fall. Is that right?
I think it is.
But I think looking towards winter, and I always think, oh boy, that's got to be tough, being on the streets. So it sounds like good work. So that's and so tell me a little bit about you. Or do you have a family? Or what's your personal life like?
I do. So me and my partner, we live in Vernon. We've got 2 kids. I've got a 17-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Oh, that's a big stretch of time between the two of them.
It is.
Do they get along?
They're best friends.
Oh,
they're
wow.
fantastic together.
Okay.
And I kind of did university in between them. But yeah, no, they're good kids involved in the community. My eldest, he's got a burgeoning music career, so he's on Spotify, Apple Music. He does music that way, and my partner owns a yoga studio in Vernon, so we're very involved in that.
Oh, I thought you looked fit.
I do some
Fit
yoga.
and flexible
Yes.
a bit. Eh?
I can touch my toes later. I'll show you.
Okay, well,
I'll teach you.
I am so stiff I can't even touch my toes.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, it's pathetic. But well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yoga too, geez. And so let's talk a little bit then about family law, which I guess it's family law and civil litigation, but a lot of family law. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, the majority of family law,
Okay.
currently at least, yeah.
So when should somebody call you when do people need a family lawyer? When should they make the call, I guess?
Yeah, so it really varies, and it's kind of depends on the person and kind of their stages of the relationship. Oftentimes we'll get contacted by people, they need to talk about something or their family or relationship status before they say become common law, which is generally after they've been living together 2 years. There's certain rights and obligations that come with that, so you want to make sure you're covered and you've got things sorted. Sometimes people will contact us right before they get married, and they want to kind of put things in writing as far as, okay, what's going to happen? We're going to get married. We hope this works. If it doesn't, what's the plan?
Do you need assets? Like, would young people need to come? I think when I got married, I had nothing. I mean, one of the reasons I found my wife attractive was she had some furniture. So at what point do you actually? Is it a good idea to go and get an agreement before you get married?
So it really depends on the circumstances. Yes, it can depend on if there's assets, but also what's your career. Are you in school to become a doctor, a dentist? Are you starting are you an entrepreneur starting your own business? If things go really well and the business falls apart, or if the relationship falls apart, what's happening to your business in that? So it really depends on the circumstances. Generally, I say just the best thing is just go talk to a lawyer. Take an hour of your time, and you can kind of get some insight as far as whether it's for you or not.
Well, that's a good point, because I always thought it was more asset based. If you get to a point where you've accumulated some things and you want to set out what the expectations for those assets are going to be. But yeah, I never thought about that. But if you are expecting a certain earning path compared to your partner, that would make sense too. So what are some other, when are the other times that a person may consider talking to a lawyer?
Yeah, so those kinds are kind of when you're in the relationships building and it's going well. Other times, people will come and talk to me while they're in a relationship and it hasn't ended. And they're just kind of figuring out if it's going to end or if it's going to continue, and just want to know kind of what their rights are and what that option would look like.
If I do get divorced, how much is it going to cost me?
Exactly. And what's what would happen and what's that process like, right? And then sometimes people contact me after they've separated, and things are traumatic and things are difficult, and we're working to kind of piece this new life they have together. So it's a full spectrum of kind of their lives and relationships throughout it.
And I understand it doesn't have to be adversarial. There's different paths, I guess, you can take to resolve matters. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, the court option is just one option. I'm actually a certified mediator as well, so I do some mediation.
You should have led with that.
I do help couples that want to mediate and come to an understanding. But even with them helping just one person in a relationship, we're still trying to engage and trying to find a solution that really works for everyone. Ultimately, that's the hope, and that's usually the best option. If it isn't, then I'm ready to go to court.
So do you mediate just family law disputes, or are you a mediator for other disputes as well?
The majority of what I do is family law disputes. Okay,
well, now we've got a toehold in Vernon, and no, I didn't realize you were a mediator as well. So that's not bad. So do you have anything else to say about why a person might decide to seek counsel from a family lawyer?
Yeah, it really, there's so many aspects of relationships that can come up and that really need attention. The most obvious for most people is kids. What's going to happen with kids? Where they're going to live? Who's making the decisions about it? Oftentimes what kind of extracurricular activities they're in. Are they playing hockey? If they're playing hockey, what level hockey? Are they doing rep or house? Sometimes there's just disagreement about it. So we can kind of help people find a resolution to that. And then there's things like child support. How does that work? Who pays and how much? There's spousal support, which is one person eligible for spousal support? And if so, what that's going to look like. But then there's other stuff like pensions. It's often overlooked, but it can make a difference.
So happy to have you, Kevin. It's been a long time coming, and welcome to FH&P.
Thanks. And I will say, though, although I'm the only physical lawyer in Vernon, I'm really happy that FH&P can expand all their services. So to service the businesses and other things that need to happen in Vernon.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Rooted in community, And Vernon is definitely part of the Okanagan community. So hopefully we can expand all things. And you're right, we focused on family law, but of course you also do quite a bit of civil litigation, as I understand as well. And so what is civil litigation? Like in construction, builders' liens, shareholders' disputes, debt collection. It's such a pretty wide gamut.
Really is.
So, so we've got somebody there for you, Vernon listeners. Kevin, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. And I'm so happy that you're at FH&P. Welcome. And to our listeners, until next time.